So, Torchlight 2 has been taking up my time of late. It's a genre dominated by the name Diablo, a huge shadow to live under, but Torchlight tries to step up and gives its own take, with mixed results sadly. It's your standard top-down dungeon crawling game. You pick a hero and a pet, and away you adventure. The story is weak, which doesn't help here. It's the usual big evil causing trouble and you must stop him. Thankfully, the combat is solid enough to at least give the game a try beyond the first few hours. The characters aren't your standard expectation of this type of game. You can mix up your playstyle regardless of who you pick, with the only limitations being the special attacks and abilities you can add to your repertoire, as they'll be character specific, but usually they still have a good 5 or 6 different ones for you that you can really miss out on some, and if you only focus and find something you're happy with for the first time. So I want to start with what's good about the game. The variety of the monsters and the imagery of the dungeons is really decent. The effort has been put in and it pays off. The amount of equipment and armoury to switch up and pick up is also vast and plenty of abilities and perks to look into. Add a strong sidekick that is your pet and the game feels like it's got quite a bit to offer. Sadly, it doesn't live up to the expectations it sets out from the beginning, and for multiple reasons. For a start, playing alone gets tedious, and playing multiplayer was fun, but was often buggy and faulty, which broke my playthrough twice. It can be easy to get attacked and pushed into scenery that gets the character stuck, and when you're playing hardcore, which Platinum Hunters have to, you really don't want the problems that your game could break, especially on a perma-death run. Throwing the game doesn't explain itself very well with the abilities and equipment and everything else. You kind of get confused and a bit bogged down, especially frustrating that you could make yourself more powerful if you just dived into all the menus, but you just wanted to play and get on with the game. Combat becomes one note and standard enemies are cannon fodder, and nothing ever gives you a test or interest until you find a mini boss or an actual boss is presented to you that offers a fight against you. That's when they seem to put a bit of effort and they tend to have a bit more of a combat towards you that you can't just steam through head first and smack everything on the head. On top of this, the non-playable characters are all dull and fairly pointless quest givers. You won't care really what the mission was, you just want to go in the dungeon, find some decent loot and kill everything in your path, which is kind of a problem because it does become tedious because there's no real point to what you feel that you're doing. The music is good in parts, but sound effects are bland and uninspiring. The biggest annoyance is the end game stuff is non-existent. Literally you play through again on a higher level, or you replay old dungeons with some minor handicaps thrown on you, and that's just not good enough when all the missions are the same and it's dull. A massive issue that really bugs me with this game, and it's a common problem with most games, is you earn money in coin, but there's nothing really ever to spend it or give you the urge to spend it in the shop, because the shop tends to have nothing of any great value, unless you're trying to get the unique armors that is a set for a trophy. And apart from that, it all just seems that you're just collecting and wasting your money on nothing, making it completely redundant. Also, there's a fame bar for killing monsters that are a bit like mini bosses. It just seems pointless and never actually found out what that actually did have any effect on this game whatsoever, which is again a kind of problem of this game, that there was a lot of pointless things. Like, you found a hell of a lot of loot, but literally 99% of it was rubbish compared to what you're already carrying. So you would literally get your pet, take it to the store and sell it for money, which again is pointless because the money never really needed to be spent. So what starts promising and begins to offer something interesting sadly falls short of what you feel it could have been achieved by this game. You get about halfway through and it does start to get a bit tedious and frustrating. So a generous 3 out of 5 is given. Platinum Hunters, you'll have little problem getting this. Most of the trophies are linked to killing the bosses that you have to play anyway. Just be warned, it becomes a grind and you will fight boredom by the end. And also, the biggest problem is that this game can break several times over. I hope you find this video helpful. Give me a like, subscribe and give me feedback.